And we are live. And as you can see, I am solo. So we have a missing guest. Kate Nunn is MIA. But Detective DiVello is reporting for duty. So until we find our missing guest, Kate Nunn, joining us live from Australia to give us the inside scoop on The Only Child, her brand new book out tomorrow, I am here to chat with you about all things books, and all things mysteries. So if you have any questions for me about books, about mysteries, about life in general, the riddle of the Sphinx, the secret to eternal youth, just, whatever is weighing on your mind, log on and let me know what questions you have in the comments. So here's what I've been reading lately. If you just joined me for the Deanna Raybourn Killers of a Certain Age, I am halfway through that and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So I love to laugh. I love a funny book. So I am really enjoying this. I like my humor I like my mysteries, my killers with a side of a laugh out loud humor. So I am really enjoying this. And I also really like that it's about an all women female assassin squad. So I like that it's women of a certain age, killers of a certain age. They're 60. So I'm all for seeing women of a certain age on the page, on the stage, on the screen. I'm here for it. Now, for my historical thriller fans, we're here to talk about The Only Child, Kate Nunn. So if you are a historical fan, this book is one that you should check out. So it addresses these homes for so-called fallen women. And I remember there was a movie a couple of years ago about such a place in Ireland and about a woman who, 40 or 50 years later was trying to find her son, and the Irish journalist who partners with her in that search. So this is a topic, a real life topic that has been coming up. And I actually live in a historic building in Boston next to a former home for wayward women. So this is an actual thing. And basically what it was is, in the days before these things were talked about, if a young woman, unmarried woman got pregnant, she was quietly shipped off to a workhouse, basically, where these women were kept by nuns and until they gave birth, and then their children were forcibly given up for adoption. And they didn't even tell the young girls where the babies went, who they were adopted by, anything about them. And so Kate is taking on this topic and more in this book, and she's interspersing it with a 2013 timeline where ex-cop Frankie is taking a break from the force, visiting her mom in the same location as this home for so-called fallen women is 60 years later. And trying to reconnect with her daughter as her grandmother is in a nursing home, and one of the nuns from that former home for fallen women is found murdered. So that is the scoop on The Only Child. So if you have any questions about what books to read, what books you want to share, what books you're reading, let me know in the comments. Or if you have any requests for authors coming up, let me know that as well. My goal with this series is to always have something for everyone. So whether you like historical mysteries, if you like historical, medical, espionage, spy thrillers, international, whatever your vibe is, I try to have something for everyone. Even cozies, I do it all. Golden Age whodunits. My goal is to have something for everyone. So let me know in the comments what you're reading, what you're looking for. And I can tell you while we're waiting for Kate to log on here. Next week, I have Alessandra Torri, aka A.R. Torrey, and she's going to give us the inside scoop on her brand new book, and that is next week, next Monday for hashtag Mystery Monday. So be sure to tune in for that. I know there's a lot of A.R. Torrey fans out there. And that's at 7 p.m. And then at 8 p.m., we have Ginny Myers-Sane, and she's joining us with the inside scoop on her new YA thriller. So I know there's some YA thriller fans among us as well. So stay tuned for that. That is next Monday. And then, oh my God, it's going to be April. Oh my God, April. I've just buzzed us through the fall, through the winter, and surprise, it's spring now. No, after that is going to be October, which I also can't believe. Where has the summer gone? I don't know. But I have a rockin' October lineup coming up for you for spooky season, culminating in Halloween. And Halloween falls on a Monday this year. Very exciting. Hey, Jill. I love your logo there, your headshot. Keep calm and go to the library. I love libraries. And Jill is saying, I am reading As Beautiful as Any Other by Kaya Wilson. It's not a crime or mystery. No apologies are needed. So I haven't heard of that book. Tell me what it's about and if you're enjoying it. I know it may come as a surprise, but I read books that are not crime or mystery either. I actually read everything. I love historical fiction. I love memoirs. I love true stories. I love biographies. I love them all. But this one is new to me, so I'll have to check that out. Also, if y'all have any requests for authors this fall or this winter, let me know that as well. If there's anyone you want to hear from, you can let me know in the comments, or you can let me know. You can DM me on social media. Let's see, what other updates today? Karen Slaughter has signed all of the book plates for everybody who ordered the book 2 weeks ago. So she's going to be sending those back to me, and I'll be mailing them out. So if you bought a book and requested a signed nameplate, they are coming your way. And the signed book plates are so cute. Oh my gosh, they have the little logo and everything. So those are coming. And I bought some extras. So I will be from the store. I bought them myself. So I will be doing a giveaway of a signed Karen Slaughter book. So stay tuned for that as well. Okay. I am not seeing Kate logging on yet. I know it's 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Like it's 10 o'clock Tuesday where Kate is in the world. But it's 8 p.m. here in my corner of the world. I know it's 7 p.m. in Texas. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but give it some thought. Oh, hey, Nikki. Hi, Nikki Miracle. Nikki is graciously booked on Instagram. She's a fabulous book reviewer. Nikki, I love your taste in books. So good to see you here. So we're just waiting for Kate Nunn to log on. She is MIA. Detective DiVello is reporting for duty, but I haven't found her yet. So we're just chatting all things books. And Nikki, I saw you are reading some new books. Let us know what you're up to. Jell's saying it is about a woman who changed gender to a male. Oh, cool. The struggles he had in coming out to his parents, the life he had, the tensions he felt with his first gender. Not everyone's cup of tea, but worth reading to think. Absolutely. I've been noticing a lot that there's a large hole in the market and need for more trans voices. So we need to hear from more trans voices, more trans stories. So I am excited for that book. Thank you for that recommendation. Nikki saying, yay. Oh my gosh. So Nikki writes fabulous reviews, and she has her finger on the pulse of all books, but especially mysteries and thrillers. And I always love her reviews and recommendations. So Nikki, let me know who you want to hear from for authors this season as we head into the fall. Who else do we have coming up? Oh my goodness. Okay. We have Elle Grawl coming up. We have The Confessions of Matthew Strong by Dr. Power Green. I'm excited for that one. Joanna Margaret, The Bequest coming up. Oh my gosh, we have Wanda Morris. She visited us last year with all her little secrets. She's back with her brand new book. All Her Little Secrets is one of my favorite books of the year last year, and I am even more excited to see what Queen Wanda delivers this time around. That is coming up. Let me just get the date one more time. That is coming up. Wanda's coming up on the 24th. And then I have a very special Halloween Mystery Monday lineup coming up for y'all. All right, you guys. Our guest is MIA. So I think I'm going to log on off of here, and I will see you next week for Mystery Monday with Alessandra Torre, aka AR Torre, and Ginny Myers-Sane. Okay, we're thinking of getting an email here from Kate. And that is a wrap, y'all. All right, I may be back in a few minutes. Stay tuned. Hi, Louisa.
Hi,
Everyone,
I'm so
we are
sorry.
back. So after that, a little break, we are back, and I'm here with Louisa, who is Kate's editor. Anneli, thank you so much for, I'm sorry, I think I pronounced your name wrong. I think it's Annalie, if I remember from last time when I asked you how to pronounce it. So I believe it's Annalie, saying, I enjoy switching between books, male protagonist after I just read a female one, historic after current. Oh, excellent. So a nice palate cleanser to keep your reading list fresh and fabulous. Annalie, I really like that. Oh, hey, George, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Saying Steve Barrows would be an author I'd love to see. I was asking our audience who they would like to see. I love his books, and I learned so much about birds. Oh my God, I love birds. Bird nerd checking in. So that is great. Thanks for that recommendation, George, because I'm not familiar with Steve's work, so that will be fabulous. Okay, Louisa, tell us about The Only Child by Kate Nunn.
Well, The Only Child is a wonderful book that combines both the historical mystery and present day. We open up, it's taking place in Oregon with a girl back in the 1950s who is, as many kids were, gotten in a little bit of trouble and is sent to live in a home, and then cut to modern day where this home is now being renovated, and a mystery that maybe connects both parts it ensues. So it's wonderful that it combines both historical and present day, and it ends up being a very topical subject, which we didn't expect quite so much when we initially bought the book.
That is very interesting background, Louisa, because usually, we're not hearing from. I've interviewed two editors before about their books, both of whom were stepping in for writers who write under a nom de plume, a pen name, and chose to stay very mysterious, very anonymous. So you are a third editor, but so it's really interesting to hear from your perspective what what attracted you to this book? What made you want to buy it?
Well, Kate is a beautiful writer, so that part was easy. But what really made this special was the depth that she brought to it because of the social issues that she addresses in the story, and how she makes them come to life through these characters that you really care about. It's I think it adds layers to a mystery when there is something that speaks more than just the mystery. It speaks to society and sort of where we've come from, where we're going, where we are, and she adds all of that into this story. So that's what made it really catch my eye when I was doing it. And I love having books that are both historical and present day. I have another one that just is going to be published that again does that. And I think that's one of the most fun things that you can read.
I totally agree. Yeah, I like my mysteries with a side of learning or
Mhm.
depth, like that extra layer. Those extra layers of depth are tasty,
Yeah.
tasty for me. And I was sharing with the audience right before you logged on that I actually live in a historic home, and in the city, and the building that I share a wall with was a home for wayward women. So I think I live next door now to one of these places, much
Amazing.
like Fairmile, and so I actually now want to dig in a little more to to what that was, because there was that movie a couple of years ago, in
Oh,
Ireland, where they're
I
unearthing.
just rewatched that, Philomena. It's a
Okay.
wonderful movie, and that's based on a real story. And I think these houses are probably more common than we think, but often we think of them as being in Ireland.
Yeah.
But they are actually here in America. It was very common for these girls to sort of disappear and be sent away. And what
Mm.
happened to the girls that didn't want to adopt out their children? What happened to them later on in life? I think it's a really interesting question for us to think about.
Exactly, which we see, addressed in Kate's book, and
Mhm.
also we saw it in the movie Philomena, where these girls underage and without any rights, stashed there by a parental figure who, because they're underage, didn't get to keep their babies even if they wanted to. So it's a dark chapter in human history,
Yeah.
and interesting to see Kate Nunn take this on with all of her deftness. What was the collaboration like between you two? Did she give it to you and it was pretty complete, and then, or was it more of a rough
It was
draft?
in very good shape when I got it. She had, I believe, had already worked with an editor in Australia. She is Australian. She's there. So we do this all over email because time differences and such. Um, but she had lived in Oregon for a period of time, so she
Mhm.
knew the area. But there were a lot of things that were Australian in there. So there's a lot of making it American again because it takes place here. There's just little word choices like I can't remember what the word was, but the word they used for asphalt was complete. I didn't even recognize what it was. So there's a lot of that. And then it's just, I mean, whenever you have a book that goes between different timelines or different perspectives, you want to make sure you don't lose the reader between that, because reading
Mm,
is all about, caring about your characters, right? And
mm.
every time you change perspectives, you potentially lose them. So
Oh,
you
interesting.
have to make sure the pacing's right, that you're moving between these sections smoothly, and that you're keeping people intrigued without revealing too much. So there was a
Mm.
small adjustments on that as we did that. But it was a very clean, what we call a clean manuscript. It was a very clean manuscript when I got it.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because what you're talking about, the book switches back and forth between Bridget in 1949, who at first is just referred to as the girl.
Mhm.
And then we start to see her as Bridget. And then Frankie, who's our modern day female cop,
Yeah.
cool police officer, he's gone back to Fairmile to move in with her mother, help get this boutique inn ready. Her grandmother's in a nursing home where a nun, retired nun, turns up murdered. So interesting to see the
Mhm.
generational element of Frankie's family, but also the pacing of writing two timelines that are 60 years apart. I mean, 60 years in a lifetime apart, because they're so different. And then seeing Frankie's daughter Izzy, the same age as Bridget, So there's all these, and then Izzy was missing. So there's a lot of layers upon layers. Did you keep adding layer? Were you like, let's, like icing a cake, let's add another layer? Or
I wasn't adding layers. No, we didn't have to add layers. At that point, it was more about trimming. And then a couple of times, a really important element in any mystery is foreshadowing. And so making sure our foreshadowing was correct, because when you're moving between, like you said, 60 years, you really have to keep that tight. Kate is an incredible writer, though, and she's such a professional, and she was really on top of it and making sure. But that was really making sure all those links were there, making sure it was still propulsive. Those were things that I was working on more. But I I don't think there might have been one thing that I asked her to add something in, but I think mostly I was asking just for connections to be made and trimmed down to make it go smoothly.
I love that. Well, the book is out tomorrow, so I'm going to pop the pre-order link up right here. And no matter where you're watching from, because we're live on 6 destinations here across Facebook and YouTube. So here's the link to pre-order Kate Nunn's The Only Child out tomorrow. This is a special pre-launch event, and we're getting the inside scoop from Kate's editor, Louisa. So this is very cool. And Louisa, this book has racked up all sorts of incredible praise. Daily Mail. Sorry, that was about her last book. Raving that she is a hugely engaging author. She has 6 other books out, right? So clearly she's built a large following. Kate Quinn, let's pop her review up of The Only Child, because I think it's worth taking a look at here. Saying it is a taut, clever whodunit revolving around the pangs of motherhood and the lengths women will go to for their children. Past and present collide when a 1940s teenager is sent to a Catholic home for unwed mothers and embarks on a battle against the nuns to keep her child. 60 years later, a burnout cop's efforts to reconnect with their own daughters thrown in jeopardy when a nun is murdered. Kate Quinn, talking about how Kate Nunn keeps the stakes high and the characters compelling. Louisa, what do you think is the secret to keeping the stakes high and the characters compelling?
I think, what is it? I think that it's all about revealing secrets in a smart way. Everybody has things to hide. You don't want all of them out. You need to hint at them and then reveal. It's all about the reveal with a mystery.
I like that. Hinting and reveal. It's all about the reveal. I like the balance of hinting, because you don't want to give it away on page 2, but you don't want to drag it out. Yeah, I love that.
And Kate's a beautiful, like Kate Quinn said, Kate's a beautiful writer. Her previous 6 books were historical novels. This is her first mystery.
Yes, exactly. Now, Louisa, you work at a publisher that only does mysteries. So you were like, listen, Kate Nunn, let me teach you a few things. Let me teach you a few tricks of the trade. Or did you find that she came by mysteries pretty?
She came by it pretty easily. Now, I am biased. I would totally admit that. But my feeling is that every book is really a mystery. You're always reading it to find the answer to something. So it's just, we happen to have dead bodies in our books, So I think a lot of writers actually have the skills to do mysteries if they open themselves up to it. There's some incredible books that are mysteries out there, and and they're often categorized as fiction or literature because the writing is so great, which always makes me furious. But it's not unusual for writers to be able to write a good mystery if they're a good writer.
Why do you think? I've noticed that characterization as well. What's behind that, Louisa? What's going on?
What's going on? I think it's it's a little bit of a snobism. I hate to say elitism, where if something's really good, all of a sudden it's in literature or fiction. You see it with science fiction. You see any genre writer who does really quality work. There is a struggle where they all of a sudden are moved from whatever that genre is into the literature arena because of the quality. I don't really understand the urge to do that. If you look for, speaking of science fiction, The Sparrow, if you go in any bookstore, The Sparrow is not carried in science fiction. It's carried in the regular fiction section. And that's a wonderful book. And you often find Graham Greene carried in the fiction section. You see a lot a lot of times that happens. It's too bad because I think it makes people think that they don't read mysteries when they do. And when they do read them, they love them. So
yes, I was at a conference not a few years ago, and a literary conference, and one of the one of the writers said to me, "What do what do you write?" And I said, "Mysteries," and they said, "Oh, well, I don't really think that's real writing," and I was offended and enraged, and that was my first sort of awareness that this snobism existed. George saying every book is a mystery, mind blown. George, right? I really liked how Louisa said that. My mind is also blown. Louisa, George has a question for you as well. He says, being an editor, do you find it hard to simply enjoy a book, or do you find yourself in editing mode too often, even for books you aren't editing? Yeah, I wonder, are you going to a restaurant and finding mistakes on the menu?
I would say that I don't I don't get in the editing mode as much as picking up on grammatical mistakes, like if I see something on a menu. If I'm in a book and something happens, like a speed bump that pops you out, you know that feeling when you're reading a book and it kind of pops you out, whatever it is, and you're all of a sudden aware of the author, that's when my editing mode kicks in. And I think, what would I have cut out to not have that experience? Because that's really important. But otherwise, I actually have a lot of fun reading other books when I'm not editing. I read a lot of other books when I'm not editing.
George, thank you for that cool question, though. Louisa, I was wondering as well. We have another book from Scarlett coming up, Joanna Margaret, The Bequest. Is that also one of your books?
That is one of my books. And that is the other one I was mentioning that does the present day history overlap. And it's, although it's a completely different kind of story, it's a dark academia is what they like to call it. And very juicy and fun. But yes, that is another one of my books. I'm excited about that one as well.
Excellent. Well, author Joanna Margaret will be coming on October 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central to give us the inside scoop on dark academia and all things The Bequest. So stay tuned for a super spooky October. Y'all, it looks like we are out of time. Time is flying when you're having fun. Here again is that pre-order link. So grab your copy of The Only Child. Louisa, thank you for stepping in on a moment's notice to give us the inside scoop on The Only Child. Very cool to get the chance to hear that from your editorial, from Kate's partner in crime, your editorial perspective, to hear what you look for in the book, what works for you, what your experience is like as a reader. This has been so fascinating and so enlightening.
Thank you. Your questions were wonderful. I really enjoyed this.
Oh, thank you so much, Louisa. All right, y'all, that is a wrap for Mystery Monday, because Mondays can be murder. We are going to make them a little less painful for you. So join me next Monday with A.R. Torrey, Ginny Myers Zane, and then we're into a fabulous, spooktacular October featuring many books, which I'm going to announce, but I am sharing tonight that Joanna Margaret's The Bequest is one of them, October 17th. All right, y'all, have a great night, and I will see you next Monday. Thank you again, Louisa.
Thank you.